Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners.
Goldylocks Productions presents the Inspiration from Spirit show with your host, Reverend Lea Chapin. The focus and goal for this show is to assist humanity in the awakening of a new level of consciousness that will bring peace to planet Earth.
Welcome, I'm Lea Chapin. Thank you for being with us today. For all the new viewers, I want to thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, for all those who've been faithfully following Goldylocks Productions and my show, thank you for tuning in again today. We have a special guest all the way from Denmark. I have Rachel Goodwin. I can't remember when I connected with her, but she is an amazing soul. She is a divine channel. The channel is the Ascended Master Sarah, and I am so excited to have her with us today. And she has a lot to share, and I'm really excited. Lots of questions for you, Rachel. So welcome to Inspiration from Spirit.
Thank you. And, thank you for inviting me. It's so lovely to see you again. I think it was last year, I think we connected and I interviewed you on my podcast.
I know. I can't believe it. That's what I was thinking. I think it was like about a year ago. It was like amazing. Time goes by. And
it does. It's hard to sort of remember because the last year time has gone in a different way. So we're all a little bit like, we're not quite sure. Was it a year? Was it 2 years? Because the last year has been really out of time, hasn't it?
I know. It's like everything is just sort of expanded, and it's like we don't even really have time. Everything just sort of expanded outside of itself. It's like everything, I don't know. That's how it feels like. I can't remember. Like, I don't even know what today's date is. I think it's the 26th. I'm like, I was going to say, what day is it? But I know it's Monday, but whatever day it is. So we are delighted you're here. Tell us a little bit about your background, because I really want people to know a bit about you and about your background and how you started channeling Ascended Master Sarah.
Okay.
And who is Ascended Master Sarah? Yeah,
exactly. So I just want to say that today is a full moon. So we're in like good energies right now, Lea. It's like it's all happening around us. And but yes, me. So I'm from the UK. Which you might be able to tell from my accent, but I've married a Danish guy and now I live in Denmark. But going back years and years ago, I was born in Deal in Kent, which is on the southeast coast of Britain, and you can see France from the town where I was born. You could stand on the beach, and on a good day, you could see Calais over in France. So I feel very connected to France, and that's one of the things I'm going to be bringing up tonight, talking about France. It's come up to be talked about in connection with Sarah. I had a very normal childhood. I trained as a psychiatric nurse in my 20s. I did that for 7 years, and then my mum died, actually, when I graduated. And that was such a huge shock for me. It was such a huge shock. I mean, she did have cancer. She shouldn't have died. She was misdiagnosed. So there was a lot of tragedy and trauma around it for us because she was very young. And I was only 26 when she died. And it kind of like, it was such an initiation for me. It blew my energy apart. And I could totally like feel her spirit around. Mm-hmm. And up until that point, I had completely denied spirit. I was brought up to be very rationalistic, very atheist, not to believe in anything. And I thought people who spoke to spirit were crazy old ladies, one of which I have now become.
One of those old ladies reading tea leaves or something, Yeah.
So that's where my journey started, really. And I started off with healing because it just came so naturally to me. And then the journey just never stopped. And here we are, sort of, I don't know, 24, 25 years later. But somewhere along the line, Sarah showed up, and she wasn't someone that I particularly believed in. I certainly wasn't looking to have a relationship with her. I was working with, I'd been to Hawaii. I'd been to the big island of Hawaii. and connected with the beautiful energies there, and made a deep connection with Pele, the Hawaiian goddess of the lava flow, who was busy working with me and, you know, getting me to transform so many layers and so many past lives. I was very busy, and I ran a series of classes connecting with different power places, because I found somewhere along my spiritual journey that I could just connect with earth energies, and I could read the energies of landscapes, and oh, there's a vortex there. You know, I don't know how I know, but it's there. It is. I can sort of see it. And there was this beautiful, beautiful, like divine love energy at this place of sanctuary on the Big Island, and we worked with it. And then I opened up to channel, because by this point I'd learned to channel, and Sarah came through, and it was such a shock. It was such a shock because, like I said, I didn't believe in her. I knew that she, you know, I'd heard that Mary Magdalene and Yeshua had a daughter and she was called Sarah. But she wasn't someone that I personally had ever thought, oh yeah, you know, I must work with her or anything like that. But I opened up to channel, and there she was. And you know how it is, Lee, when you open up to channel, you get who you get, don't you?
Yeah, you get who you get.
And you know, there was this group of very nice women waiting for me to channel something for them. And I was like, oh, can I say this? And I thought, well, if I don't, nothing much is going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
So
who were you working with? Rachel, who had you been working with?
Well, so each week I'd opened up. So we'd worked with like the goddess of the sea, and you know, there's so many beautiful Hawaiian deities. Hiaka, who's Pele's sister, and I think it's Namaka, who's the goddess of the sea. And so I expected another Hawaiian deity to come through, and it was Sarah. That turned out, and she gave a channeling about love is the key. Love is the key to everything. And it was just beautiful, this energy. And but I was, because I'd worked a lot with Mary Magdalene, and I also knew the energy of Yeshua, and Sarah was so much a combination of the two. And I was just like, my God, is this really happening, you know? And I went home, and then I tried to go to sleep, and I could just see all this green every time I shut my eyes, because I often see like different energies that I connect with as color. I'm very color orientated. And then she didn't go away. I was just like seeing green all the time. And I was also experiencing her memories, you know, because she didn't have the easiest life on earth. There was some real traumas, obviously, in the Holy Family. And yeah, I can remember I went off to a clairvoyant who I trusted very much and I'd known for years, called Edwin Courtney, to say, have I gone mad, Edwin?
And what was your hesitation with Sarah, or concern about that? Because you're telling other beings. I mean, when one says they can work with Pele, that seems, you know, I mean, I understand that because I've worked with Pele, but to be able to, what was the concern about Sarah that was so much within your own psyche?
Well, that's a really interesting question. I mean, my instant answer, and I'm not sure this is the right one, is the rational thing to sort of say, well, no one knew anything about her. There was no mythology or anything like that. But I also think, you know, like for me personally, I have worked, like I've got a past life where I was in a psychiatric institution as a mental patient, and, you know, and then I worked as a psychiatric nurse. So that is something I've been working through, is that belief. But something in me found it much easier to channel goddesses of like Eastern persuasion or Hawaiian or the whole Christian thing, even though technically Sarah's not part of the Christian religion. I really struggled with that. Yeah.
It's probably partially being indoctrinated with certain beliefs that Jesus was celibate, never married, never had children, died on the cross, and that whole story.
I don't know, because I mean, I was brought up in the Church of England, and my dad, who was a total atheist, he thought religion caused all wars and should be got rid of. He actually took us to Rennes Chateau when I was 15.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in the 80s, he read the Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, and he was just fascinated by it. And he took us there. And at that age, you know, as I said, I didn't believe in anything, but I had like spontaneous past life regression to being a Cathar when we went to one of the castles, and was crying my eyes out there and not knowing why I was doing it. And again, I thought I was just being crazy. I mean, yeah, it wasn't until my mum died and like it opened me up and made me accept like all those weird experiences I've been having all my life, they were all true actually. You know. But yeah, I mean, that's at heart, you know, I have a deep core of skepticism. And I think that's the thing with Sarah. It's like I had to get over that.
Now, do you recall being a part in that lifetime with the Holy Family 2,000 years ago? Do you have any remembrances of that, or why do you think Sarah's coming to you now?
Well, I feel like I've known her very much in different lives, not necessarily that life. I feel her at different places. I feel her in Ireland. I feel her in Malta. What other places? Iona. There's a lot of places around the world where I feel her. Scandinavia and Eastern Europe. There's a lot of places I feel her really, really powerfully, you know, and I do believe that she's had very significant lives at other times as well, where she's been planting seeds in the earth, and that she's really been a magical adept and healer, really powerful healer. So, I mean, the memories I've had from around that time, I was actually in Avalon in Britain, and that I met definitely Yeshua there and Mary Magdalene like later on. But yeah, I've not had memories like directly from that lifetime of meeting Sarah, but she's like, because there's been lots of times where I've wished I wasn't channeling her and was channeling somebody easier, because she's also very challenging to work with. And in those times when I just tune into her energy, I just go, but I love you. You know, she does. She feels like a sister. She feels like she has that. And that's how she comes forward. She comes through as a sister and guide and teacher and mentor. So she's not there to tell you what to do. She's there to walk by your side. Yeah. But yeah, very catalytic, her energy. She really sets off reactions in people. So she's for people who really want to transform their lives. Yeah, but I feel the work she's taught me that she's come here for the age of Aquarius, that she's an ascended master like for our times. Or if you don't like the word ascended master because it's not for everybody, you can just leave that out. But she is like a light being for our times, specifically for us coming into our own mastery now and stepping into our own power. And I like that because she has the energy. She's not held back actually by any baggage or any mythology. No one can really own her.
No, she's her own. She's her own true spirit. I mean, she's a
free spirit.
Free spirit. That was the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word. Truly free.
Yeah.
Well, this just leads me into it. There's a lot of questions I have, but this is interesting for me personally, because you say in 2023 that Sarah's flame will be anchored into earth plane fully, just like the energy of the Magdalene and the Christ. And as you know, this is what the premise of my book, Divine Union, is about, of the anchoring their energies here on the earth plane. And so I know you probably remember this, I assume, but I finished channeling 24 transmissions of Sarah 3 years ago. I talked with you about this.
Yeah.
And it's still sitting there.
Okay.
And so I'm like, am I going to finish the Sarah story? And it's been sitting there for 3 years, but my Divine Union book sat for a while until I went to Mount Shasta went to an etheric temple of the Divine Union from Talos, and I got reactivated into that temple that finished the book. And so when I saw this and you said, oh, her energy is going to be fully anchored into 2023, I go, huh, is this why my book has been on hold for 3 years? So I'm putting you on the spot here. I want to know the answer, Rachel.
I do think about that from time to time, because you have the first chapter on your website, and I love reading that because
Say that again, honey. I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
You have the first chapter of those Sarah transmissions on your website, and I loved reading that because when I read it, it was just like, oh, this is such Sarah energy coming through. So I've been really interested to see when the rest of it is going to come along, and I have thought about it from time to time, and I was thinking about it tonight actually, because this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. So last year in Glastonbury, a group of us worked remotely to anchor Sarah's violet flame. She has a temple on the tour in Glastonbury Orchard, and we anchored that, and she had laid a seed there like aeons ago. Now, there's 3 aspects to this flame, but in divine truth, it's in oneness. But for us to work with it as people, it really helps us to break it down into the 3. But it's an illusion that it's in 3. But it helps us, and it also helps the process of anchoring it on the earth. And so the first one is Sarah's violet flame. The second part of it is the white flame of divinity. And then the third is the green flame of manifestation. So I started getting really obsessed with Santa Marie de la Mer in the last week.
Oh, I want to go back there again.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well, if I can.
That is a special place.
Yeah. And the thing is, the interesting thing is, like, I've always known it's there, and like, logically in my head, of course I want to go there, but it's never pulled me until the last week. And suddenly it's like, I'm obsessed. I'm just obsessed with the energy right now. And it's because of this white flame. So the white flame is the second aspect, and it kind of represents Sarah's angels, but it also is the same vibration as the divine spark, which we have within us. And it's going to anchor at Santa Marie de la Mer and here in Denmark as well. And both of those places have connections to springs. So I was like reading up on all the history I could find about Santa Marie de la Mer. And because this is the legend of, Mary Magdalene arriving on the shores of France. And in that time, it was called, let me see if I can find it. It had a Latin name, and it was a holy spring that was there. And it was named the Mothers. It was a triple aspect goddess that was there, and it was named the Mothers, called, and it's something we don't have any clear mythology about, because I was like, I love goddess stuff, and I was like, I've never heard of them before. And it's because we don't have any clear mythology about them anymore. But there's 1,100 altars and plaques and things all over Europe to them. But it's a triple aspect, which is really interesting, because there was 3 women that landed at Santa Marie de la Mer. So we have that triple thing again. And Sarah always comes in 3s. The number 3 is always like coming up with her. But it's really interesting because the town had this Latin name, and it actually meant, I can't find it in Latin, but you can see it on Wikipedia. It actually meant the town of Ra, as in like Ra, like the sun god, like the Egyptian sun god. And it's like, wow. But I was reading about it on Wikipedia, and it said that place has been a sacred place since prehistoric times. So that has been a holy place at Santa Marie de la Mer since prehistoric times. And it's like, wow, no wonder we're all feeling it. Like, like when we go there.
You've been there before?
I haven't, but I'm feeling it now. It's just like the last week, it's like suddenly like come alive. But yeah, you've been there.
I was actually gifted after my book Divine Union came out. This was pretty wild. I was gifted a trip to France from Mary Magdalene group, and that was in September, October of 2017. My book was published in May of 2017, and I was gifted a trip, which was really wild. And I was wondering why I was on this trip, and because I wasn't really gelling with some of the other people, but when I got to Saint de la Mure, I had a vision, or I had a transmission in the chapel, and Mary Salome and Mary Jacob came, and they said, "We've been waiting for you," and that I'd been disconnected from the energy from the Holy Family because of my time and lifetime with Jesus and Mary Magdalene as Elizabeth, that I had felt alone because my mission was complete, and I had died and left this family. And it was really powerful. We were only there a short time, but I want to go back there. Like, it's really, really strong for me to go back there. And there's a lady here in Florida that takes sacred tours to France. She was supposed to do this fall, but it's got postponed because of COVID. So it's the next year. But I feel really drawn to go back there and just to spend time there, because I was only there for maybe a couple of hours. But I had that transmission, which was really powerful with Mary Salome and Mary Jacob, the Marys. Mother Mary sisters. Yeah. So you're already feeling it, but just to be there and to feel it, it was like amazing. And of course they honor Sarah. They think Sarah is the gypsy servant. And so when I didn't realize at the time I said, no, the gypsy servant is Sarah. She's not the gypsy. This is the real Sarah. And so they honor the gypsy Sarah. And it's like, no, this is the real Sarah. Well, can find out. Sarah tells me, no, that's me in disguise.
Yeah, exactly. And it's in May that they have the festival to Sarah and the Marys, from the 24th of May to the 26th. But I think Sarah's main day is on the 24th. So May is very much about Sarah's energy out of all of the months, not just because of the festival, but also for other things as well. So I have some spray here, if I can see that. I don't know if you can see this if I hold it up. Let me get it round the right way. This is a painting that Cheryl Hall has done. This is Sarah, and this is Sarah when there's a story that the Holy Family, including Sarah, arrived at Glastonbury, and she's holding a hawthorn, a flowering hawthorn. Now, in some stories, this is Joseph of Arimathea. So I think it was Joseph of Arimathea, Mary Magdalene, and Sarah. And the hawthorn, it flowers in May. It's a tree of magic and of the elementals. Again, Sarah is very connected to those. But also, so Sarah is the expression of the sacred marriage. She is the divine masculine and the divine feminine come together in oneness. The hawthorn tree has bisexual flowers. It has flowers that are both male and female. And I'm just like, when I found that out, I was just like, oh, I knew this was Sarah's like tree, but now it's really her tree. Because
this is in Glastonbury?
Yeah, that's in Glastonbury. So that's Weariall Hill where she's painted. If you look up Cheryl Rose Hall, Sarah, it'll come up as one of the paintings, and she has this beautiful like lilac violet veil and robe on, and that is like, you know, to me that's the color of her violet flame particularly. But yeah, and then also I looked up the name of May, because May is named after a goddess, Maya, and she is a goddess of growth and spring, of course, you know. And again, that's really Sarah's energy. That's how I see her. I see her as this really bright green color, and it can be anything from, you know, the leaves when they first come out and they're that really delicious, like really light
Rebirth.
bright green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost want to eat the leaves when I see them like that. So that really dark green. She can be anywhere, sort of. But I mean, people see her in different colors. That's how I see it. So I really feel like May is Sarah's month, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this flame work. Yeah.
And so you're doing a workshop. Is it an online workshop that you're anchoring Sarah's energy in? Is that?
Yeah, so it's a Zoom call. It's on the 22nd of May. And if people want to go and have a look at it, if you go to my website, which is rachelgoodwin.dk, because I'm in Denmark, and then you just go along the top, there's a little button that says Zoom calls. If you have a click on that, it will then tell you about the class and the times, and you can book it from there. You actually book it on my online school. But
okay.
If you can't make it, you can still join the call. There'll be the recording on there, and you can still work with it, even though, you know, you're not exactly in the moment. I know people like to do things live, but it's not always possible with time zones. And I always try and make my time zones, but you can't reach everyone. You can't reach everyone in the world.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah. So obviously you're much more comfortable with Sarah now. And is she sharing, I just want to step back to that question about 2023. What do you know what that time frame is? Why that particular time frame?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked that, because so we're bringing this white aspect down. It's only going down into the etheric. It's still not going to be grounding right down to the physical, because Sarah's energy, you know, is this whole evolutionary thing. It's the next step for us. So we have to take it slowly, and we have to take it gently. And then next year, when the manifestation part of it comes, that will help anchor it. Because this white flame of divinity, it is so like angels singing, you know, it's so like, up there. And we're just not ready to ground that yet. We've got to do it bit by bit. And then by 2023, we can anchor the flame in oneness, like properly. So it's spirit is giving us this chance to go through it, like step by step by step, because of course, as each flame comes closer, each aspect of the flame comes closer, it then triggers a clearing process in all of us, and you know, the ley lines and everything, the grids around the earth, not the earth herself, because she's already sort of as ascended as she needs to be. It's us, and it's the energies we've created on the earth, because there's still so much more clearing that we need to do, which is why her violet flame came in, because it just like it's in Glastonbury, this etheric violet flame temple, and it is just pulsing out violet flame across the earth from there everywhere.
So that's probably why I wanted to go last year to Glastonbury. I wanted to go in May to Glastonbury. It didn't happen. But was that when you were working with the energies last year?
I can't remember now. It could well be. It could, maybe it was June. It could have been, I don't know now. I can't remember. But it was May or June.
Oh, okay. Because we were wanting to, I don't know if you remember or not, but I did a lot of sacred site journeying with my friend Jared, and we traveled all over to Cyprus and Jordan and Turkey and India and, you know, everywhere, Ireland, and that 2018 whirlwind that was after my trip to France. And so we wanted to go to Glastonbury. It was like, you know, it was called to go to Glastonbury, and then it's like I'm called to go back to France. So that's why it's so intriguing to have you on here, to have your knowledge and your information, because, you know, I'm being triggered, but it's like, okay, you know, why, you know?
Yeah, that's it. And her energy is very, very present in Rennes-le-Château and around that area of the Pyrenees. But to me, it feels more her as a young woman, you know, kind of in those sort of teenage years, sort of early 20s, where she's still quite wild, and in her sort of maiden years of that real freedom energy. I sort of have images of her like bounding across the landscape and like scampering up rocks and you know, all of this sort of thing, being quite a tomboy actually.
And on your, I'm going to step back again for another question, but on your podcast, are you sharing this information on your podcast, and how is that being received?
I do share things from, you know, because sometimes I'm interviewing guests. Sometimes I get people to come on and interview me. And sometimes me and the guests talk about these things because, you know, I tend to like think it's a really good idea to ask people who are interested in Sarah so that I can get some good Sarah conversations going. So, you know, things are getting disseminated bit by bit. And, you know, I send things out on Facebook and in my newsletter. People take it really well. I mean, I think people who are more looking for a perhaps traditional version of Sarah, maybe they go away and look somewhere else, because I think I'm always expanding the boundaries of like how we imagine her to be, and that might be challenging for some people. But no, it's people just connect to her and just get this, you know. It's like, so I was interviewing Mary Tobin earlier for the podcast. It hasn't come out yet, but she channels Mary Magdalene, and she has a Blue Rose healing website and talks about the Blue Rose lineage. And it's just like people connect to that Blue Rose image, and they just, something in them just goes like that.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Sarah, you know. It's just like, just hearing the name starts to invoke the energy, and then they start to look for stuff about her, and there's not much. So, you know, that's where people find me.
Yeah, I know more and more people are interested in her. And so, you know, even when my story came out, and there's pieces about Sarah, you know, in my book, they didn't know much about Sarah. So they were eager to learn about Sarah. So I thought I'd have this, you know, written and out by now. But I know that everything comes in divine timing. So it makes so much sense now to know that her flame is coming and that the energy is being taken slow. So I don't have to maybe beat myself up so much. But you're such a good resource here to help me to shift my perception about this information.
That's
because, you know, you can't do it all by yourself. I get what I get and you get what you get. But, you know, you're really, really helpful.
Oh, thank you. Exactly. And, you know, really, I see myself as an energy healer. You know, that's what I do. I work with the energy. And to me, you know, I'm always, and Sarah's teachings as well, like as a wisdom keeper, I guess. But, you know, so much of my stuff is about the energy work and getting people to connect to that energy and initiating them into these energies. And, you know, there's other people like you that come along and say all about the story. And, you know, I might say a bit of this and a bit of that, but that is not my primary role. My primary role is powering through these energies that we need. You know, I act as a bit of a portal for the earth and for other people. And it's like, I'm just part of the puzzle, you know?
Yeah, it feels like you anchor her energies, you go where she goes, or you're in alignment with her energetically into these timelines where she's anchored your energy, and you're accessing these different, like Glastonbury or into France, and you're able to somehow be reawakened and reawakening other people, but you go into that energy frequency, into these ley lines, and then you're just like, I feel like you're being sparked open.
Exactly. And it's like, I feel in some ways I'm working with a really small piece of it, but really, really intensely, like this flame, this violet and this white and this green, because last year I put together, at the bequest of one of my students, she asked me if I would put together a healing system. And I was like, oh, I could so do that. I've got so much material. And that's what I did. I've put together a Healing in the Angels healing system now, where people are initiated into like that white energy and the violet flame energy, and then this green manifestation energy. And it's been really amazing for me. Like, so I've taught 13 people now. I love that number. Love that. Such a goddess number. I've taught 13 people now. And then they're giving, they give me healing sessions as well. And
Mhm.
I so experience it. And it's like, oh, it's just so magical, Lee. I'm like, oh, this is really happening. And because it is all about us like going up and getting those finer particles of our higher selves and then bringing them down and weaving them into our physical body. And this is where Sarah comes in. She like bridges that gap. And she's just a magical mistress of the weave completely.
Yeah.
And that's what this healing system does. And it's just doing that has just been, I think, one of the most magical things I've ever done in my life. And people can go and have a look at that. I'm teaching that again in September. And then I mean, the thing is, I have all these projects going on. I'm like, I should do less. I should really do less, because we also have on Facebook, we're opening up Sarah's Temple of the Sacred Flame, because it feels like we need to create like this temple space where we come together and work with this flame, this holy space, because there's so many people like spread around the world who are connected to this. We need a place where we can come together and bring these energies in by holding sacred space. So that's also something I'm doing this month. I'm doing a free like activation of Sarah's sacred flame, and it's going to be an echo of what's to come, because in 2023 it's going to be grounded, but for now we can sort of hold it in that sort of space that is outside of time and space. And I think that's it. I've always been able to experience Sarah like before she's happened yet. Because obviously, she's coming from an ancient lineage, and she was long ago when she had that particular life, but she's still not fully grounded here. And when I first connected with her in 2005, she was like an echo coming back from like, when the circles of water spread out, you drop a stone in and the circles of water spread out. It's like that. I was like, she was coming back to me from the future. Yeah.
So you were on the Big Island in 2005?
I was. Yeah.
What month was that?
I think it was March.
And
March
I was there in
April. I
was there in September of 2005 on the Big Island.
Okay.
Working with Pele.
Wow. I mean, I've never experienced anywhere like Hawaii. The grid system around there is the most pure and perfect that I've seen anywhere on the earth. And it is like, there's certain points where there's a little island called Lahua, and I looked at it and it was like, there's a point that's heaven, and I'm actually looking at it on like the skyline, and it's like I've never seen anywhere else like that. It's so uncontaminated, like energetically. And I guess it must be that thing with Lemuria, and because it's just the tops of the mountains of Lemuria, isn't it? And it's just, I love it. Pure. But I have lived there in past lives. I've had really clear memories of being there in past lives. So when I do grieve, because I when I had to leave, because I went back again in 2008, when I had to leave, I had to go, I've had my time here, and I have to trust that, the divine is putting me where I'm needed. But oh God, I'd really like to live there, Lee.
Yeah. Well, I think that's interesting that you were there in March and then I was there 6 months later. When you said that, I go, isn't that interesting?
It was a really special time. I do remember like big downloads coming in, and it was a really special time, I think, that year.
So Sarah's been sort of on the periphery, sort of weaving her energy in and out, as you say, just to help to bring that balance. That's why when you're talking about when you're talking about her energy weaving, as I don't mean to keep showing my book, but that's really what I wanted when I had this book with the Divine Union. I found this picture from an artist in Mount Shasta, California, and weaving the Divine Union of the Jeshua and the Magdalene energies together. And again, that's the energy of the Holy Grail. The missing Holy Grail is what Spirit tells us about that in terms of holding that chalice. We're holding that chalice for the rebirth. And so you're helping me put some more dots together. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And also, so the other day, because I have been doing a lot more interviews recently, because Sarah just suddenly got hold of me and just went, get me out there. Which is, it was like, okay. But we were talking more from like a sacred feminine empowerment perspective. And, I was saying that, so Sarah's the next step, and it is really wonderful, all the goddess work people are doing and the divine feminine. But Sarah's the next step. And the next step is to like bring the divine masculine into balance and, union with the divine feminine. It's not enough for us to just be strong in our goddess power. We need to honor and respect and love the divine masculine again, because, I have some theories that I never really hear other people saying, but I suspect that the goddess time maybe wasn't as utopian as we think it might have been, because things swings and roundabouts, don't they? And women and men, we're all the same. We're not all perfect and they're all terrible. We all have our own issues. We've all been women and men. Humanity carry the wound together. And, it's time for us to let go of resentment and blame, really. Yes, you have to be angry about things that need to be angry, and then get on to the next bit. And we've really lost our sense of the divine masculine. And, I don't think I'm the person to bring that back, but, the men need to do that. But I have been working a lot with my sort of divine masculine. I was given a channeled symbol for Yeshua, and I've been working with that. And it has helped me so much. Oh, my word. And I was so resistant to doing it, because left to myself, I will stay in the divine feminine energies because I love them so much. And they're so familiar to me. It's really going outside of my comfort zone to work with the divine masculine. But I know that I can't work with Sarah and get away with that. She's not going to leave me to just wallow in my divine comfort feminine zone. She's like, no, come on, you have a divine masculine side as well. And now I'm 50, I think spirit think it's time that I got on with owning that. And also I think it's very difficult to truly express your gifts out in the world and build form without owning your divine masculine side. You kind of need that dynamic activity. So that's been a powerful journey. But I think Sarah's here to help us with that next step.
Yeah, because that's, as she shares with me, it's about stepping into that balance. Everything's about balance. And so I'm working with the Atlantean energies right now to help clear those distortions from that imbalance from Atlantis. And so it's always interesting, all this focus of how this interweaves. But I'm thinking, okay, I'm working with this Atlantean energy right now that seems to be a focus. Perhaps once that gets cleared, because I've been doing some ceremonial work and putting the information out on my Mary Magdalene calls every Monday. And today I did another powerful one, working with the golden dragon energy of bringing the balance back. But it's about weaving that balance, and not back in the 60s, the women livers burning their bras, and now we're in 2021, and now we're understanding, okay, this is a different way to hold your strength. For me, I always envision that strength of divine balance. For me, I always feel that's energy of Mother Mary, that energy of strength and compassion. As you merge that strength and compassion of being able to receive, but also to having that strength and the courage, like you're doing, to put all these teachings out, to go forward and to share this and to give it out to the world. We receive and we give, with receiving and then disseminating, having the strength, having the courage. So I commend you, because I know your life challenges have been difficult. I don't know where you have the time or the energy or the positivity, with all that you have to deal with, with your home. I'm like, gosh, she's doing so much. I feel like a slacker when I look at your stuff.
Thank you. And yeah, we do have our challenges with, Benji's 8 now, and he's a special needs boy, and all the other things about moving country, but it's because that work that I do, that's my joy. It makes me so happy because, like, left to myself in my own space, I don't connect up in such a powerful way as I do when I'm teaching, when I'm channeling, when I'm doing services. That's when it gets really, really good. So spirit kind of know they've got me, because it's like, I want it. I just love it so much. Yeah.
And you're such a pure soul, that's what I don't even know. I can't remember how we found each other, but I'm just so grateful. And it's like, oh, you just feel like a sister and a spirit, a pure soul, sister spirit to me, that you're just doing this work from the purity of your heart, and it's such purity. So Sarah must have knocked on the door, because all of a sudden it was like, why haven't I asked you to be on the show? I don't know, but I guess it was time. Sarah was knocking on the door going, have Rachel on. And I also want to, I catch myself calling you Sarah instead of Rachel. It's like, I'm like, oh no, she's not Sarah, she's Rachel. But I will, you're holding the essence, and so I keep calling you Sarah.
It happens a lot, so yeah, don't worry about it. I know I'm me. it's because like, and especially like I lit a candle to her when we started, so I've brought her in, so she's very tangibly there. But I mean, I think that's one of my gifts, and I think this comes down through my ancestral line. It feels very much in my DNA. I can electromagnetically transmit energies out, and that's not anything I've done. It's just like I was kind of born that way, and it's got its pros and its cons, like all things. But I also think that's why, it's because she comes in and she's sort of going boom, 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 like beaming out to everybody. Yeah.
And I don't know if you did something with the color of your hair, but I do see green in your hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
That. No, I haven't done anything tonight.
Oh, okay. Because as I'm looking at you, I'm seeing, you're talking about that lime green, or the green of new leaves, of new life, on trees or plants. I'm seeing this green in your hair. So apparently Sarah's emitting this green flame, or the green resonance.
She is coming through really strongly at the moment, because there are times where she sort of dies back and gives me a break, but at the moment she's on full throttle, and I think that's because there's this big push at the moment to like birth this this new energy down to the etheric. Yeah,
it's really time. We only have maybe about 10 more minutes left or so. Was there something that Sarah wanted to share? I'm not trying to put you on the spot for channeling, but was there something that Sarah wanted to share that I haven't asked you, or did you want to give a little message, or what were you feeling?
Yeah, I'll tune in, and they're usually very short, the messages that she brings through, but it's nice for people to experience the energy. And when I channel Sarah, it's not just the words that come through, it is like an energy matrix coming out. So for the people that are listening, if you just kind of close your eyes, and if you want to take the energy, feel yourself being receptive. And also you might even get your own little bit of information. That quite often happens. So I'll go quiet for a few moments, and then when I'm talking, it will be Sarah coming through.
And we won't lock you up in the psych unit.
I know, isn't it lovely? People are pleased these days, and I can hear voices.
It's safe out there.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome, I am Sarah. My blessings are upon each and every one of you. As I speak from this side of the earth, spring is truly upon us, and all of the blessings that come with it, the chance of something new, new life, new growth. So I am a good person to call upon when you have new projects in your life that you perhaps feel need a little bit more power and oomph, I will gladly come along and give that energy. I have the power of bringing spirit through to the manifest world. And this is not my power in truth, but rather an aspect of the divine that I am an archetype for. I am a face for, an energy color, whichever way you want to describe it. You can call on me even to help your garden grow out in nature. You can ask me to bless the water that you pour on your houseplants. You can bless the water you drink to help you grow, or your children grow, or your pets grow in those times where change is needed, and perhaps you wish for the fresh, verdant energies of spring. I am Sarah, and I am here specifically as mankind blooms into a new era of growth. It is time to cast off those old shackles, those old beliefs, especially the guilt and the blame and the resentment and anger and bitterness. It's fine that it's been there. It's okay. It was right for the time. But now something beautiful and wonderful is coming for humanity. All things come in right timing, right time, right place, right being. And you are in this cusp now, this turning point. Can you feel it as I speak? Can you feel those blossomings starting to occur in each and every one of you? Those of you who have ears to hear, the light within you has already sparked, has already grown so much. My mother, the Magdalena, she will come to you and help you heal your wounds. She will hold you when you are in pain and suffering and give you so much love and compassion. And my Father, Yeshua, he will light up that spark. He will fan the flame. He will make it brighter and help you have clarity to comprehend divine truth. And I, Sarah, I will help you bring it all together. I will help you fully embrace your humanity and fully embrace your divinity. You have come to be all that you are. And so it shall be. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. I am Sarah. Those of you who have come here to work with me, you are ready to hear my call. And so it shall be. I am Sarah, and these are the words which I wish to speak this day. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. Amen. My blessings are upon you.
And so it is.
And so it is. I could feel so much like energy coming through out of me to everybody. So I hope that, yeah, people were feeling that, because I was.
That was so beautiful. And I, could really feel that sweetness. I know that Sarah is really powerful, but I just feel this real sweetness. Perhaps that's a intermingling of your sweetness, but it's like, just feel the sweetness, just this love that was emanating from you or through you from Sarah. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
It's
you're welcome.
So honored that we've connected. It's been just been a delight. I'm really, really, really happy for you. You know, I'm happy Sarah said, hey, invite her. You know, it's like, what have I been waiting on? I don't know what's wrong with me, but anyhow, Sarah was knocking on the door.
So that's it. I think this was the time, and you know, like you said, more and more people are getting interested in Sarah, and like I get so much more positive feedback now than I used to, and so of course that's had an effect on me. That's helped me bloom and be more open with what I'm teaching, and just feel really, really good about it. But there's just one last thing I wanted to mention, because I think it's quite important for people who feel connected to her. She has this sort of, so whatever color you see her, to me it's green. She has this strand of green energy that she has been weaving in and out for centuries and centuries and centuries. And sometimes it's up in the collective consciousness, and sometimes it's down deep. And right now it's coming back up. But there's been many priests and priestesses and healers, and you know, all of us sort of people who walk in between the worlds that have connected with her energy in one form or another. It might have been under a completely different guise, but those are the people, many of the people who are being woken up by her call. And also there's a lot of people who carry a soul part from Sarah. So they're a soul aspect of Sarah, and they're grounding her energy as well. They're doing their bit to sort of get it down into like the physical layers. But I just wanted to mention that to people, because people can often feel they are her, and they get completely like, what does this mean? Oh no, does that mean I have to go out and save the world and perform miracles? And it can be quite confusing. So I just wanted to give those couple of ideas that people can take away and, you know, make whatever they make of them. I thought it might be helpful.
Yeah, I just connected with a young lady that feels that she's Sarah, and it feels like she's holding the essence or a strand of her. But I'll connect her to you. I'm going to meet with her next week.
Okay.
So I'll pass on the information, you know, your work to her. But we just had a couple minutes. Just go ahead and give your contact information. Anything that you want to say about any class that you're having? We just got about 3 minutes left. Give your website information.
Yeah, so everything's on my website, Rachel Goodwin, RACHEL, Goodwin.dk. That's got all my classes, my online school. It's got the Facebook links. I also have an Instagram page, Mary Magdalene's Daughter, where that's got some really nice things on there. So you can just go on there and find it. Or I also have a book called Sarah's Little Book of Healing. You can find that on there. It's got lots of goodies. And also, because I do magical Norse shamanism work, Sather work, that's on there as well. And that's really lovely, beautiful nature work. Very, very in tune with Sarah, to me anyway. Yeah.
Well, you are an amazing woman. I'm so happy that we connected, and hopefully it won't be another year before we, you know, I get to see your pretty face again. And just maybe you can tell Sarah to give me the boot to get this work done, because, you know, it's still sitting there. It's let's see, where is it? It's in a green folder with like 24 chapters.
Oh, Lea, I'm just dying to read it.
I know. I was like, come on, Sarah, help me out. I'm not sure what's going on.
All right, I'll tell her.
Oh, yeah, you pass it on. Say, you know, kick me in the behind, you know. Anyhow, it was 3 years ago, April. And then I left that.
It's so lovely to see you again, Lea. Thank you so much for inviting me on. It's just been absolutely wonderful talking to you today. And it's just, the time's just gone like that, hasn't it?
It is, and our time is up. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is so fun. Thank you. I giggle with you like a schoolgirl. So yeah, you've been fabulous. So
I want us to do a Sarah and Mary Magdalene and Yeshua conference sometime.
All right. we let me know, and we'll chat about that, because we're going to get booted off here in probably about 1 minute. But thank you again, and I'm just really, really happy for all your success and all you're doing. I'm really excited for you, and I'm just so happy you were able to be here, you know, on this day to share with us. So God bless you, and we will see. I think we'll see each other in France.
Oh yes, please. I would love that.
And our Glastonbury. Those are our two.
Yeah.
That's where we're going.
Yeah.
So come on, Sarah. Many Sarah blessings. Come on, Sarah.
Blessings.
All right, honey. Have a great day. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. All right.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Bye, Lee.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This month's broadcasting is sponsored by ICU Dr. Lauren Love, ICU nurses, technicians, and staff in the Boston area hospitals.